Cadillac V8 Town Sedan, 1928. Forget everything Hollywood told you. This car was real, and it was a rolling fortress. In Chicago's violent streets, Al Capone didn't rely on luck, he engineered survival. His 1928 Cadillac V8 Town Sedan became the first fully armored car ever built. Nearly 3,000 lb of added steel plating and bulletproof glass over an inch thick turned it into something untouchable. What made it even smarter? It was painted green and black, identical to police vehicles of the time. From a distance, you wouldn't question it, and that hesitation was all it took. This wasn't just protection, it was psychological warfare. It set the blueprint. Power isn't just shown, it's engineered. And here's the thing, if this was the beginning of Mafia mobility, the next car owed crime into pure status. Lincoln Continental, 1980. If you ran New York in the 1980s, you didn't just show power, you drove it. The Lincoln Continental became the signature of the Gambino crime family, carried by figures like Paul Castellano and John Gotti, known as the Dapper Don. Long, wide, and unapologetically bold, this sedan wasn't built for speed, it was built for presence. Under the hood, a V8 delivered smooth, controlled power, while the massive body gave it something more important, authority. When it pulled up, people noticed, and they understood. There was also that detail everyone whispered about. The trunk, big enough, they said, to carry more than just luggage. Whether myth or not, it fed the legend. This car turned crime into a moving boardroom. But while New York showed elegance, Sicily was about to show something far more dangerous. Mercedes-Benz 260D, 1937. On the dusty roads of old Sicily, sound came before fear. And when the engine of the Mercedes-Benz 260D echoed through the hills, people didn't ask questions, they stepped aside. Used by the Sicilian Mafia, this was one of the first diesel-powered passenger cars ever built. It wasn't fast, but that wasn't the point. It was reliable, efficient, and built to run longer than anything else on the road, exactly what organized crime needed. And here's what made it chilling. In the 1940s, seeing one meant one thing. The people inside were untouchable. You didn't interfere. You didn't look twice. You just let it pass. This car didn't chase power. It represented control. It helped establish Mercedes as a symbol of authority in Europe. But while Sicily moved in silence, London was about to move with brute force. Jaguar Mark X 420G. In 1960, London, power didn't whisper, it arrived heavy. The Jaguar Mark X, later known as the 420G, was the weapon of choice for the infamous Cray twins. Nearly 16 feet long and over 6 feet wide, this wasn't just a car, it was a moving wall. Under the hood, the same engine found in the Jaguar E-Type gave it surprising performance for something this massive. It could move fast, but more importantly, it could dominate space. While celebrities chased Rolls-Royce elegance, real gangsters wanted presence with muscle, and this delivered both. You saw it coming, and you knew it wasn't optional. It embodied Jaguar's philosophy, pace, space, and grace, twisted into intimidation. But while London ruled with size and weight, Japan would prove that real power doesn't always need to shout. Mercedes-Benz S-Class W140. In Japan, power doesn't always announce itself, it signals. And the Mercedes-Benz S-Class W140 became that signal for the Yakuza. Massive, overbuilt, and engineered like a vault, the W140 was one of the most advanced sedans of its time. Double-pane windows, soft closed doors, and insulation so thick it felt sealed from the outside world. But what really stood out? Many were left-hand drive. In a country where everyone drives on the opposite side. That wasn't a mistake. That was status. It told you the driver operated beyond Japan, internationally connected, untouchable. You'd see one glide silently through Tokyo, blacked out, and you'd feel it. Not fear exactly, but awareness. This wasn't just luxury, it was controlled dominance. But while Japan mastered silent power, Russia was about to turn speed into survival. BMW 7 Series E38. In 1990, Moscow, power moved fast, or it didn't survive. The BMW 7 Series E38 became the weapon of choice for the rising Russian mafia during one of the most chaotic decades in modern history. Sleek, understated, but brutally capable, the E38 combined executive luxury with real performance. Its V8 and V12 engines delivered speed that Soviet-era police cars simply couldn't match. And that gap? That was life or death. Locally, it earned a dark reputation, often called the car that took the most bullet hits. You don't get a nickname like that without history behind it. It wasn't flashy. That was the point. It moved quickly, quietly, and efficiently through a system built on instability. This car wasn't about showing power, it was about escaping it. But while Russia relied on speed, Colombia was about to rely on something far more relentless. Toyota Land Cruiser. In Colombia, power wasn't measured on asphalt, it was tested off-road. And for Pablo Escobar, the Toyota Land Cruiser wasn't a luxury, it was a necessity. Built for durability, this 4x4 could cross mud, jungle, mountains, places where most vehicles simply stopped. That's exactly why it became essential to the Medellin cartel. Operations didn't happen on clean roads, they happened deep, where only the toughest machines could go. And here's the detail. Escobar owned multiple units. It wasn't about style, it was about reliability. If one failed, another kept moving. You see one of these in rough terrain, and you already know it's not there by accident. This wasn't about speed or status, it was about control of territory. But while the cartel mastered the land, modern gangs would take things back to the streets, louder than ever. Ferrari F430 and 458. In southern Italy, power isn't just held, it's displayed, and when a boss from the 'Ndrangheta or Camorra steps out, it's often behind the wheel of a Ferrari 458 Italia or a Ferrari F430. These cars aren't practical, they're not discreet. That's exactly the point. With naturally aspirated V8 engines screaming past 8,000 RPM, they turn every street into a stage. At local festivals and public appearances, some bosses would rev the engine just to send a message, not speed, not escape, dominance. You hear it, and you know exactly who's in control. And here's the twist. Many of these Ferraris were seized by the Italian government and repurposed as police vehicles. That's poetic justice on 4 wheels. Subscribe to the channel to follow the next videos. See you later.